If we can say something today that will help you to lighten up on yourself just a little bit, if you can find more unconditional love about yourself, it would be so good for you. Because when you focus in your experience and you find reasons or conditions to not appreciate yourself or anyone, someone else, for any reason, you hold yourself in a discordant vibration. And the result is you don't feel good in the moment. But another result is, in that moment of negative emotion, you are actually practicing a thought and therefore encouraging a momentum of that thought, and therefore turning that thought that started out soft and simple and unimportant, not very much of a determination in what comes to you in terms of your point of attraction, of turning that thought into something that has enough momentum that it's a full-blown belief that then becomes a central part of your point of attraction. And that's the thing that is so ironic, because you are offering this thought which becomes a belief, and then it becomes a reality for you, and then you believe it. That's the best way for you to really cement a belief in. Offer a vibration that you didn't need to offer until you cause a reality that you didn't want to cause, and now you've got an experience that you have to face. It's reality after all. And then you say, of course I believe it, I lived it, life taught it to me. And what we want you to understand is that you are teaching life how to be to you. Life isn't being that way to you willy-nilly. You are not here just to have life descend upon you and then observe it and accept it. You are the creator of your own reality. But we love you so much, you don't act like you know it. You are so often just observing things and taking your observation as if it is something that, because it is, then it is your responsibility just to observe it and then to comment on it and then to blog about it, and let's gather some statistics about it, and please, 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 let's erect monuments about it too, so that no others ever do not accept the belief that we have created about the things that we do not want. Let's pass these beliefs on from generation to generation, because after all, we don't want these little buggers that are coming in to really believe that the world revolves around them. We don't want them to think that life is supposed to be good for them and they're supposed to live happily ever after. We need to teach them. Humans want to pass on what you know. We want you to pass on what you feel. We want you to find the vibrational core of who you are, to make sure that you're in resonance with source before you pass it on. But that's not the easiest thing, is it? Because you've got some thoughts going that have gathered some momentum, and the momentum is causing them to manifest, and the manifestations are something that not only you are noticing, but those around you are noticing too. And so it's not easy to get your eyes off the reality that already is, even though we so much want you to get your attention upon the reality that is becoming. But the is reality is so compelling, isn't it? There's so much texture to it, so much detail to it, so much momentum to it. And so we understand why it's compelling to you. But the what is not as rich as you make it out to be. You can get in the mode of being in awareness of what you are doing vibrationally without holding yourself so succinctly to the details of what is in terms of manifestation. And that's the thing that we wish with everything that we are to convey to you in a way that you can really hear us. Yes, there is a what is. There are conditions that surround you that have manifested into what is. There certainly is a reality that you could get together and agree in large part upon the components of what is. But what you mostly don't remember, and what we know so vividly, and what you mostly would do well to remember, and what we know so vividly, and what we wish to convey to you in a way that you will then remember it and get it active in your vibration. Yes, there is a what is that is manifested, but there also is a what is that is vibrational. And that vibrational what is, you can recognize it here and now by the way you feel, because you can feel the what isness of your relationship between your desires and your beliefs. That's what is too. In other words, when you want something and you doubt it, that doubt is what is right now. It's a what is too. When you want something but you have fear around it, That fear is an indication of a vibrational reality, a vibrational what is right now. Now, what we're going to say next, if you can hear this, then your life will begin to transform in manifested visual, see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it ways immediately. But here is the piece that you've got to get in place. First, you have to accept that this is a vibrational world, do you? And that you are a vibrational player in this world. And that you are an extension of a vibration that is active and vivid within you. And that when you are in any moment resonant with that vibration, you feel the resonance of it in the form of powerful, positive emotion. And when you get sideways of it, when your thoughts, when your beliefs have introduced resistance into this equation of your focus right now, you feel the discord. You accept all of that? So here is the piece that we so want you to understand. As you stand here in your vibrational beingness, it is that vibrational beingness that equals your point of attraction. Your point of attraction, that point where you begin the process of turning thoughts into things, of turning something that is a vibration into something that you can realize with all of your physicality. We're talking about creation here. But we want you to understand that unless you get your eye, your sensor, your attention, your focus upon this emotional center that is yours, then you're likely to continue to perpetuate unwanted momentum. You say, there are so many things I want that more money would provide for me. And then even as you're saying it, you're feeling negative emotion because you're thinking, but I don't have that money that I want or need. So you've got both of those vibrations going on. So we say, well, let us help you clean up your vibration. So we talk to you about how you can get some money. And in your mind, you argue with us, well, I've been trying and I'm not getting any. And then we convey to you that there are many people who have been where you are standing. And then you argue with us in your mind that, yeah, you know, but you don't know what their circumstances were. You know somebody that inherited something, you really don't like that guy. And you know somebody who won the lottery, he's just a freak of nature. And then you begin remembering that you didn't inherit anything, and then you wonder why your parents didn't plan better so that you could have inherited something. And then you think about your spouse who spends like a wild banshee, and there's no point in ever trying to save anything because as fast as it shows up, it's gone anyway. And so we're trying to have a conversation with you about how you can have more money, but you're off to the races on how you feel about money. It's not because you are a bad creator. It's not because you are a negative thinker. It's because you've got momentum of those thoughts. Those beliefs have a lot of momentum going, and you just can't stop a train that's going 100 miles an hour that way and make it go 100 miles an hour that way all of a sudden. You wouldn't want to. It's hard on the contents of the train. You don't want it to be like that. So what we want you to understand is that, yes, out there in the details of the life that you're living, it is close to impossible to, in any short order of time, change the vibration, change the thought, change the feeling, change the emotion. It's just not likely. But you could do what you've been talking about doing for a long time as humans. You could discover an unconditional alignment. You could find at the heart of that the vibrational core of it. So Tracy doesn't want us to tell you this story, but we're going to tell it to you anyway. And Esther's not sure she wants us to tell it to you, but we're going to tell it to you anyway. Because we tell stories unconditionally. We don't give a rip what you think. So Esther and her family were at the Spurs game the other night. Spurs are the basketball team in San Antonio. And they are in the championship. It's the finals. And it was the first game of the 7-game series. And Esther is hooked on it. So they are at the game. And the air conditioner in the stadium was not working. And there are 18,000 people in there. And it was hot. San Antonio. So everyone was fanning themselves, and the crowd was having a good time. And they are playing the Miami Heat, which Esther blames them for the heat. So the game is unfolding, and it is not really looking as good as Esther wants it to look for the Spurs. She can feel the energy is down. The other team is doing better. The other team is a bit ahead. Esther has seen this before. She's been watching lots of the games. She sees when the momentum starts tipping one way or the other sometimes. And so she's sitting and she's thinking about it and she's enjoying it. And she, like the other 18,000 people, is fanning herself with the fan. And Tracy says to her mother, as she has decided that she's going to clean up her vibration by making a list of positive aspects. Coach Popovich was the coach of the year this year. And we do have home court advantage. And we have the best record this year. And Esther said, you know, Tracy, that feels like an old process. Because I can feel the effort in it, can't you? Can't you feel that it's like we're trying to talk ourselves into something? Can't you feel the strain in it? Because Tracy was sort of frantically going down her list, positive aspects. We've got to help these guys. And Esther said, do you remember the video that you sent me a few days ago? It's a video about the San Antonio Spurs. Someone put it together. It's so lovely. Do you remember that we sat there with tears in our eyes as we felt such love for these men who have come together? Remember that? Remember how they gathered this one from this country and this one from this country, and they all became a sort of family, and they've got this system that they do, and they all share the ball, and nobody's the hot dog, nobody hogs the ball. They're all easy to pass. They love each other so much. Nobody cares who actually gets it in the basket. They just want it in the basket. And so just with that, remembering how they felt when they watched that video that brought that feeling of love forth within them as they watched it, they sat there in that feeling of love, and then, boom, 13 points right away. Right away. Tracy looked at her mother. Esther looked at Tracy. Tracy said, do we dare be so bold as to even think that we have affected this? And Esther said, of course we did. Of course we did. Look at them. They're all miserable. Everybody's fanning themselves. Everybody's worried about what's going to happen. One who's connected to the stream is more powerful than a million who are not. Find that place of unconditional love. Esther's been practicing that quite a bit lately. She's been practicing finding that place of unconditional love. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do when there's conditions all around you that are demanding your attention, but you can do it. And if you can find that place of unconditional love, loving because that's who you are, loving because that's who you are, loving because that's all that you are. And we want to say to you, that when you find that place at the center, that place of unconditional love, when you let the conditions that have been hindering you fall by the wayside so that they are not a factor in what you got going on. Now, it's just you and what you want and the energy that creates worlds flowing through you for the creation of whatever matters to you. We are not kidding you about this one little bit. We are not encouraging you to try to create the reality of anybody else. But we do think that it is a great advantage to you to begin paying attention to the influence that you have. So you get that? Unconditional love. How are you going to get there? You got to get general. You have to let yourself somehow let go of the conditions that are holding you in vibrational discord to what you want. That really is the answer. You got to find some way to stop holding yourself in vibrational discord. And the details that you've been practicing, the momentum that you've been practicing is going to hold you there. Not because you're bad. It's a law of physics. It's not bad that gravity takes that car down that hill. It's not bad that inertia, it's not bad that the physics laws of this universe operate in the way they do. But it is so helpful when you understand how they operate and you begin going with the flow of them instead of attempting to buck your own current. You can take the effort factor out of everything when you get this business about aligning. You can. And Esther said,